At the start of our journey, we know that it can be very difficult to get some concrete starting blocks to propel us into this journey in the best way possible. So here's the 3 missing keys that I wish I knew at the start of the journey for really practical spiritual evolution. Now, a spiritual awakening and to evolve and evolve our consciousness really requires, to be honest with you, a fair amount of work. Conscious-based work though, so it's not necessarily full of effort, although at the start it might feel that way. One of the biggest keys, the first key, that I wish I knew when I began this awakening journey was the idea of discipline and austerity. Now, I am a big hedonist and I love my food and I love a large glass of wine if it's Christmas time or if I'm out for a meal or something. And so the biggest thing that I could have done with at the start of my journey, and is a lesson I'm still learning, is a principle, an idea called tapas. No, it's not the lovely Spanish food that we get to enjoy. It's in fact talking about austerity, fiery discipline. And we know that that discipline is cultivated and has to be brought to the practice of yoga. Yoga means union, and we're unifying the lazy ego into and bringing it into union with the feeling of who we are, so that doing almost becomes non-doing at times, spontaneous doing through the feeling of dynamic stillness. And if you want to find out more about that state of being of dynamic stillness, you're more than welcome to sign up down below for the free breathing practice. It's great for awakening some prana, some energy in the system. And as well as a free community down below of people on Facebook going through an awakening process just like you, that you're more than welcome to sign up for. It's absolutely free, I'll never charge you for it. As well, there's the one-to-one coaching, which is down below. It's free to apply, but it's not free for the coaching because I need to live and eat, but I will check your application form out if you do apply. Don't worry, I won't leave you hanging, and that's all down below. So tapas, austerity, fiery discipline, the thing that we must begin to practice, because it doesn't just mean doing our yoga every day, our sadhana, which we should. And I've become a bit of a one-trick pony. Some people think I'm a one-trick pony, and really I am. You know, I'm a yoga teacher. I've done this and created this channel because I know that the yoga works, and that cultivating that discipline, having that self-responsibility for the practice is the only thing I know that will speed up the awakening process. Now, people might be having different journeys and going through different ways, maybe the Buddhist way, maybe the Christian way, maybe they're following in the footsteps of Jesus, maybe, and I too am, in a sense, doing all of those things. But my way forward is through yoga, because yoga just works. These physical postures help bring you into alignment and union with that divine source inside of ourselves. It just does the job. Without us having to know why it does it, it just does it. But discipline is the biggest missing key that I was missing at the start of my journey, that I really wish somebody told me that I needed to cultivate. And in fact, my teacher did, but that came a little bit later. I think he didn't want to scare me off, but I'm more than willing to, you know, we got to have the right people coming in, you know, with the right attitude, and this is the best way. The second biggest key, and the thing that I would say I didn't miss this one, but this one was something that was very apparent to me very early on. The second one is study yourself. Self-study, self-inquiry. What does that mean? Well, there's a big I and a little I. The little I we'll call the ego. This little I is this mischievous one in the mind that claims to be me, and then speaks as if it's me and ruins my life. But then I, big I, has to bear the brunt of that because the little I's got in the way. And this is how we begin to practice discernment, noticing which thoughts are ego, and which thoughts are inspired thoughts coming from source, if we want to call it that, or coming from dynamic stillness, that spontaneous feeling of who we are. Discernment is difficult at the beginning because we don't know what's what. And therefore we must close our eyes and connect to that spacious awareness that we are and work out what it is that's the ego and what it is that in fact is the thing watching or witnessing the ego. And then the question becomes, well, who am I? Which one more represents me? Of course, they're both me. They're both part of me. But which one is fairer? Which one's more loving? Which one's more spacious? Which one's more peaceful? And that's the big I. And this is why self-study, self-inquiry is one of the biggest things at the start of the journey to get ourselves into. Final one, the final missing key is letting go and letting God, really. It's letting go of control. We know at the start of the journey the life begins to crumble down a bit. And this can be the most difficult thing because there's people out here on YouTube speaking about, oh yes, wonderful manifestations and my life's great, and that's wonderful because that does happen. But it does not happen at the start, not necessarily. At first, the old identity needs to break down, and what comes with that is the destruction of usually relationships. Just going from my experience and the experience of people that I'm coaching, it seems to be, and the people that I've been hanging around with in yoga, it seems to be the breakdown of the, we could call it the 3D life, this physical life. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't have to go that way. Maybe it doesn't have to go that way, but it seems to go that way. Why? Well, because we've got ourselves in agreements with people, meaning friendships that aren't friendships at all, that are actually just let me abuse you on the sly. And it's a good thing that these things break down. It does cause pain, and we do see it as our life breaking down because we have attachment to these people. But in time, it allows us to see a deeper awareness of, oh, okay, I wasn't necessarily respecting myself by engaging in those agreements, by engaging in those friendships. And this is it. So the thing is, let go and let God. As the money drains out of the account, to force you into a place where you must start something new. As the friends drain away, to force you into a place so that you can cultivate tapas and fiery discipline in your yoga for a little bit. And then self-study so that we can, a little bit of time for self-study, so that we can work out what's me, what's not me, and what I prefer to call me, and what me, big I or little I, spacious awareness or contracted ego, serves me best. I really hope this video helps. I hope it serves to allow you to let go of the wheels, because we were never really in control of the wheel anyway. This life's been happening spontaneously, but we have this idea of control that seems to make us believe that we're the one in the driver's seat, when we're not. I hope this video finds you well. I hope that banging in the background didn't annoy you too much, and I'm wishing you a lovely evening. Namaste.